tribute. Saw them at various stadia up and down the country. This is the first time that Stockport have had the opportunity to bid farewell to their supporters who've sadly passed away during the last calendar year. And now we're just about good to go. This is BBC Radio WM Sport 95.6 FM DAB digital radio, Freeview channel 722 and BBC Sound and I Follow Walsall. We're literally all over the world today. If you want to drop me a tweet, you can, at Sport BBC WM, and it's the Saddlers all in red who are going to kick us off in the third round of the FA Cup, playing from left to right, so they'll be kicking towards that 1,000-strong following in the second half, and it's Brandon Comley that gets the first touch of the game. Back to Owen Evans, all in yellow, and he launches it downfield. Hayden White helps it on, looking for Tom Knowles. Stockport clear their lines through Anthony Sarcevic and into their midfield, wearing their blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks. Good challenge from Donovan Daniels. Now Isaac Hutchinson. Bright start from the Saddlers, pushed out wide to the left-hand side in Gordon with a low cross, and that's sliced towards his own goal by Akil Wright, and Ben Hinchliffe has to scramble to stop it going out for a corner. But nice and lively start from the Saddlers, Paul.
Yeah, lively start. Already feels like a better start than to the game here in October from the Saddlers, but a nice move. I think Brandon Comley started it by winning the ball back in a good area and then won the second ball as well a few moments later, so he's made a good start to the game, coming back into the side.
Well, these two have met twice previously in the FA Cup, the Saddlers winning both 2-0 in 1979-80 season and 2-1 in 84-85. Evans having to come scampering outside his penalty area to deny Olafay, making his debut. Signed from Millwall, 23 years of age, had a couple of loan spells in this division with Sutton United, and he'll be a threat up top for Stockport today, Paul.
Yeah, he's a dangerous player. He's really good for Sutton last season, and played a big part when he was on loan there in their promotion from the National League. So that's a real coup that is, I think, for Stockport, getting Olafay in the door. With already some great attacking players with the likes of Wootton, who scored 2 10 days ago, or however long ago it was, sorry, and then Paddy Madden as well. He's someone they have on the bench, so they've certainly got a lot of weapons up front.
Well, the Saddlers have got themselves a throw, level with the edge of their own penalty area, over on that far side in front of the family stand, which Monte takes. It comes back towards Will Collar, wearing the captain's armband, but in steps Donovan Daniels, and he's already up to the halfway line. Daniels, now Johnson trying to feed it on towards Liam Gordon. Gordon with the cross, it's a great chance. Oh, and Douglas James Taylor has got something on that, but so too did Hinchliffe, the goalkeeper, to take it off his toe and put it behind for a Walsall corner. Great ball in from Liam Gordon, and you felt Douglas James Taylor had to score, but Ben Hinchliffe has got something on that and managed to just deflect it wide for a corner. Really
slick attack there from the Saddlers. Brilliant ball from Liam Gordon, exactly where you want it. And I don't think James Taylor quite got the touch he would have liked. Isaac Hutchinson as well was waiting behind as well. But again, great from the goalkeeper, and here comes the corner
from Hutchinson, which is headed away by Hussey at the back. Now Olafay in a one-on-one confrontation with Brandon Comley, which Brandon Comley just about got the best of, and Liam Kinsella funnels it back to Owen Evans. High starting position midway inside his own half from the Saddlers goalkeeper. Hussey heads away, and Stockport collect in midfield. It's with Rydell, the left wing back into the middle of the pitch. Oh, it's a heavy touch though from Hippolyte. Now Knowles can find Hutchinson. Hutchinson onto Danny Johnson. Shot blocked, ricochets into the Stockport penalty area, and eventually Sarcevic works it away to safety. But the red shirts are first to it in the form of Manny Monte. It's going to be a Walsall throw, but Danny Johnson with a half chance. Got it onto his left foot, but Stockport just about managed to get the block in there.
Yeah, they did, but the Saddlers, they're winning the ball so high up the pitch in this opening 4 minutes or so. So that's really encouraging signs from Walsall, playing on the front foot away from home, and that's exactly what they didn't do on the 29th of December against Stockport at the Poundland Bescot Stadium. So much more encouraging start.
Rob Gurney and Paul Joanna with you. 4 minutes in. Stockport 0, Walsall 0, but a lively old FA Cup third round tie this is already turning into, as Johnson hooks it towards the far side, and Liam Gordon turned away for a Sadler's throw. Some game I saw yesterday at Chesterfield, 3-3 against West Bromwich Albion, 3-2 at half-time. This match has got something to live up to come close to that, but it started positively enough from Sadler's point of view, certainly. It's going to be Gordon to take this throw midway inside the Stockport half, taking a long time over it, but finally delivers. Akil Wright going up with Hutchinson. It's cleared away. Back with Daniels, ricochets back fortuitously to Hayden White. Now set up down the right-hand side, but the pass was overhit in the end by Hippolyte, and it runs through to Owen Evans. A bit risky defensively there with Donovan Daniels and Hayden White, but
yeah, there was a bit of ping pong.
Get away with it.
There was a bit of ping pong, but when it eventually came to Button, it was a lovely little touch back to Hippolyte to sort of set that attack, and the Saddles looked outnumbered just for a split second.
The head has been missed by Rydell. Here's Knowles down the right-hand side. Knowles confronted by Rydell and Hussey. Plays it back to Kinsella. Kinsella scoops that towards goal, and it should be a comfortable claim for Hinchliffe, all in pale green, and is. One of these goalkeepers that favours the short sleeve shirt. So sure, diving around and grazing your elbows in a short sleeve shirt is necessarily the way to go, but he's obviously comfortable with it. A lot of goalkeepers do wear short sleeves these days for whatever reason.
Like to show their arms, I think, the tattoos there, what they've been doing in the gym.
No, Knowles forward looking for Johnson. Hussey turns back towards his own goal, and Hinchliffe clears. Bristol City 1, Swansea 1. Antoine Semenyo has got the Bristol City goal. Not long to go in that game. That was a lunchtime kick-off. Bit of a seven-side derby, if you like, there, Bristol City and Swansea, although not quite as same as Cardiff, because Swansea's another 50 miles further on in South Wales. But here's Lewis for Stockport, 0-0. Out to Wright over on the far side. Now into Wootton, coming deep to receive the ball, back into Stockport territory again with Lewis, the young Welshman, formerly with Torquay United. And he's rampaging forward from the centre-back station out to Rydell on this left-hand side for Stockport, under pressure from Knowles, gets the cross in, but Hayden White's there. And then thumped away by Tom Knowles up towards Douglas James Taylor, but Stockport regather possession, and Lewis goes all the way back to Hinchliffe. Goalkeeper under the chest of Hussey, former Cheltenham, AFC, Wimbledon and Coventry player, amongst others. Chris Hussey, now 34 years of age, joined from Port Vale on a free back in September of last year. Stockport have slowed down the tempo a little bit. Oh, James Taylor nearly cut out that pass from Lewis, very, very nearly. And if he's kept his legs together, it might have got a deflection on it, but anyway. Stockport playing it around in midfield. Hippolyte, square to Collar, and now out to Wright. Into the feet of Hippolyte, again just inside the penalty area, deflected wide for a Stockport corner. Patient build-up from the home side, and it ends up with Hippolyte's shot going behind for a flag kick to Stockport.
Yeah, Hippolyte's got himself in some good positions so far in this first 8 minutes or so, but another player I think the Saddles need to keep an eye on is Will Collar. He's a clever little player. He did really well in the game at the Besca, and you know, his delivery is exceptional, and one of Stockport's standout players, that's for sure. Really good side actually, Stockport.
Well, he scored a hat-trick, Collar, in their second round replay win over Charlton from the league above. Referee Andrew Kitchen trying to do some sorting out in an extremely congested 6-yard box where there's about a dozen players all standing in about 2 square foot of turf there. But he's happy now. This is in front of the Walsall supporters, this Stockport corner. It's going to be swung in left-footed from the far side. Eventually, when the referee has finished lecturing a couple of the players, one of whom was Tom Knowles. Stockport fans telling Wayne Hatswell and Michael Flynn to get back inside the technical area. All the fun of the fair. It comes eventually the Stockport corners, the edge of the 6-yard box, and James Taylor heads it away, and Sarcevic skies that into the back row of the Walsall fans in the railway end. In the 10th minute it remains Stockport 0, Walsall 0 in the FA Cup, Paul.
Just looking at that away end, full Saddlers fans in good voice. The away support the last couple of seasons in particular has been phenomenal.
Yeah, it has. Really good to see, but the fans know there's something good going on at the Bescott these days, want to be a part of it, as Hayden White picks the ball up midway inside his own half, but a little bit too much time, and Olafay wasn't standing on ceremony there, sliding in with a tackle.
Yeah, certainly not going to get time on the ball against Stockport County, and Olafay, he's been a real handful already, so you don't want to be inviting him on.
Hayden White did win the throw. Derby 3, Barnsley 0. There's another latest in the FA Cup as Daniels it back to Evans, and Evans goes long through the middle. It's probably going to be a little bit too long for Danny Johnson. It is, and a couple of bounces through to Hinchliffe defending the goal at the Cheadle end of Edgeley Park. BBC Radio WM and I follow Walsall. Long ball down the field. Wootton claims he was being held, but he's got the ball now anyway, and out wide to this left-hand side, and Rydell. In comes Rydell's cross. There are numbers waiting inside the penalty area, back to Sarcevic. It's a slightly better attempt than the one a few moments ago. It ends up halfway back in the Walsall away end rather than right at the back, but Stockport certainly in terms of possession and territory are starting to get the bit between their teeth here now.
They are. They've had their sort of first spell of the game and had a couple of opportunities and put a bit of pressure on the Saddlers. So first 11 minutes been a proper cup tie so far, hasn't it? You know, two teams going at it toe to toe.
And here's Montag receiving the short goal kick from Evans out on the left-hand side. Long diagonal pass, but that's more in hope than genuine expectation that Tom Knowles can get there, and he doesn't. It's out for a Stockport throw, which Rydell is going to leave for Hussey to take. These two teams, of course, in close proximity to one another in League Two. It's 14th against 11th after yesterday's results in the division. As Hussey eventually takes the throw towards Hippolyte, and Kinsella got a piece of that, but deflected the ball onto Hippolyte. So it's going to be a Walsall throw in now, just down to our right. Tom Knowles has literally got the ball tucked up his shirt, as he is the long throw expert, and can hurl a missile or two when the situation demands, as it does now. He's got slightly longer run-up than he has at Bescott. The dimensions of the pitch are a little bit wider than they are at Bescott here. Oh, and then
dear!
I gave him the big one, and he's literally just thrown it straight into the air there, and it's going to be a free kick for Stockport after Brandon Cumley bundled into his man there. I say, gave Tom Knowles the big build-up, and literally the ball just slipped out of his hands there, didn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it's one to forget for Tom Knowles. His long throw's obviously been a weapon. Used regularly this season. He had all the time and space that he would have wanted there, and
well, I say more space than he gets at home.
Yeah, as you said, and. It's just, I think he's launched his arms and forgot to take the ball with him. Oh dear. Michael
Flynn had a quiet word in his shell light on the way back, as Hinchliffe takes the resultant free kick for Stockport. Tangle between Wootton and Daniels, breaks for a blue shirt in midfield, but then Liam Kinsella is in to break it up for Walsall. Out to the left-hand side, and Gordon, but Sarcevic comes in front of Isaac Hutchinson. Eventually deflected away for a Stockport throw, which they're looking to take quickly, but then delay. It's into the corner for Hippolyte eventually. It bounced up onto Monte's arm, but play on, says the referee, and Monte's clearance doesn't get very far. It's going to be a Stockport throw-in level with the Walsall 18-yard line. 14 minutes exactly on the watch on BBC Radio WM and I follow Walsall in the third round of the FA Cup. Stockport 0, Walsall 0. WM listeners, Villa against Stevenage to come from 4:30. Ball floated towards this near side and Rydell, but Evans quickly anticipating it and trying to spring defence into attack, just rolls it out to the path of Tom Knowles. Knowles' pass is too heavy for Isaac Hutchinson, and Akil Wright is there to tidy up for Stockport. Back to Hinchliffe, the goalkeeper, who launches it downfield. There was a bit of push you, pull me between Monte and Olafay there. The referee says that was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, 6 and 2 threes. Waves play on, and Daniels floats it long, looking for James Taylor for the Saddlers. Headed away by Lewis at the back for Stockport. Now picked up in midfield by Sarcevic. To Hussey along the floor. It's a decent ball for Wootton, and Rydell has been left by Knowles. Rydell into the area, drives it across the face of goal and out for a goal kick there, but Tom Knowles was caught the wrong side of Ryan Rydell there, and that could have been very, very dangerous for Walsall.
Yeah, I think Aidan White was just having a word with him as well after that, and again, there's another decent touch by Wootton into Rydell, and Rydell swept the ball across goal, trying to find that bottom far corner, and just in front of Owen Evans' post, and eventually goes away from danger. But yeah, again, there's no room or margin for lapses in concentration against this Stockport side, that's for sure.
Paul Joanno and Rob Gurney, your commentary team. Stockport 0, Walsall 0. Plays in the 4th round of the FA Cup at stake here at Edgeley Park. Here is Hutchinson, but broken up on the halfway line by Hippolyte, but then Knowles does get tight to Rydell this time and deflects the ball into touch for a Stockport throw, right underneath our commentary position. Pretty much level with the halfway line here. There is a pillar immediately to the right, but other than that, it's a pretty decent view. As Hussey picks up possession. Ball's out for a Walsall throw after Stockport tried an interchange. Hartlepool 0, Stoke 1. An own goal has given Stoke the lead in that FA Cup tie. As Hayden White takes the throw here. Hutchinson with the chest control. Runs for Kinsella. To Hutchinson again. And White into the channel looking for Johnson, but Hussey turns it away. Sarcevic facing his own goal, used Lewis well. A long ball in Wootton's direction, but Daniels with the top knot lets it cross the touchline for a Saddlers throw, and Michael Flynn having a word with Hayden White as White prepares to take this Walsall throw in. Cumley comes to offer himself, but White goes longer instead, looking for James Taylor. Hussey heads away, and then Sarcevic tossing one over the top for Wootton to chase with Daniels, and referee Andrew Kitchen has given what here? Is it just a throw-in for Walsall? I think it is. Again, he's letting a lot go here. That looked potentially like it might have been a free kick for Daniels pulling down Wootton, maybe, Paul? Yeah,
they did look like there was definitely contact there between sorry Daniels on Wootton, but like you say, Rob, the referee's letting quite a bit go. There was one in the middle of the park moments earlier as well.
Trying a shot, but Evans is down to save. I mentioned this is the same referee that refereed the league game here back in October, Andrew Kitchen. He booked 3 Saddlers players, I think, that day. He's letting a lot go in terms of physical contact so far in this game. Here's Knowles, 30 yards from the Stockport goal. Showed a little bit too much of that to Hussey. Sarcevic half clears, but Saddlers regather through Comley and now Kinsella. Out to the left-hand side, and James Taylor, it's with Gordon trying the cross and blocked behind for a second Saddlers corner of this game.
Well, I think Stockport fans behind that goal wanted a foul from against Tom Knowles, sorry, as he slid in to win the ball back from, I think it was Sarcevic in the build-up. It looked like Knowles did poke the ball away and set off that move. You know, a bit of patient build-up there from the Saddlers. Goes out to Liam Gordon, who's had a couple of dangerous moments on that left-hand side so far, hasn't he? He's looked bright.
It's going to be a Saddlers out-swinging corner from Gordon with his left foot. Michael Flynn bellowing in the background. Gordon whips it in towards the far post, looking for White, and the referee spotting some push and shove possibly by Hayden White And it's going to be a Stockport free kick, 0-0. Ben Hinchliffe, Stockport goalkeeper, 34 years of age, formerly with Dave Challoner's old club Files, takes the goal kick. The referee says, I think, from the wrong place. Mind you to say, there's a little bit of needle starting to develop in this game, Paul, isn't there now?
Yeah, it's
certainly from the fans' perspective.
Yeah, I think the Stockport fans have been a little bit frustrated in the last few minutes with a couple of things the referees let slide, for example.
It's 20 fairly engaging minutes. It's still 0-0. Back with Hinchliffe on his left foot. Daniels gets in front of Olafay to win the ball, a little bit fortuitously initially, but then floats the ball out towards Liam Gordon, and Gordon denied by Akil Wright. Good sliding challenge actually by Akil Wright to stop Liam Gordon crossing the ball, but it will be another Walsall corner, their third.
It was well read by Donovan Daniels, just made a bit of a hash of his first attempt to make the pass, but got a second bite of the cherry and then found Liam Gordon with a decent ball over the top, and it was good defending, as you say, by Akil Wright. Got out to him very, very quickly, closed down the angle, and Liam Gordon does get a corner from it, and again he seems to be a bit of an outlet for Walsall on that left-hand side.
It's going to be an in-swinger with his right foot by Knowles this time towards the front post, but doesn't beat the first man, who is Sarcevic. And he heads the ball away for a Walsall throw over on the far side. Stockport, of course, back in the EFL for the first time in 11 years. Have been as high as the Championship in the last couple of decades, but dropped as low as National League North at one point, but now back in League Two. Sadler's trying to get out of this division, of course. I say this division, we're of course playing an FA Cup tie today, but it is between two sides in the same league. As Stockport sweep the clearance away for what will be a Walsall throw on this near side, and Tom Knowles coming across. Let's hope that this long throw is a bit more successful than his last one. And picks the ball up and wipes it under his shirt. It looks like he's got a pot belly momentarily. Eventually hurls it rather flatter to Isaac Hutchinson, and Hutchinson squeezes it out to the left-hand side, and Donovan Daniels. Daniels trying to get the better of Akil Wright. He's done well, Daniels, and sweeps the cross, though, too long for his centre-back colleague, Annie Monte, and it drifts into touch for a throw to Stockport, almost at the midway point of the first half. And a bit of hush descends on Edgeley Park, with the score still at Stockport 0, Walsall 0, Paul Joannet.
Yeah, I think Hutchinson gave Daniels a lot to do in that move with that pass out wide, but Daniels done well to keep it in, and then eventually beat his man, just overhit the cross. And I think so at the moment the end product isn't quite there at the vital moments from the Sadlers, but there's been plenty of encouraging signs. But obviously Stockport have shown how they're dangerous as well. Here's
Hutchinson emerging with the ball, trying a shot. What a save by Hinchliffe. We were right behind that, and that was arrowing towards the corner of the net from Isaac Hutchinson, who holds his head. But Ben Hinchliffe produced a brilliant save to turn that round the post for a corner.
Oh, it sat up beautifully for Isaac Hutchinson, didn't it? On the turn, it's bouncing on the half volley. Lovely strike, catches it superbly, and it looked destined for that bottom left-hand corner. But fair play to Hinchcliffe, gets across with a brilliant diving save, brilliant one-handed save as well, strong hand, and well, I think that's the best chance of the game so far.
Most definitely. Fourth Walsall corner is the end result, which Knowles takes, and then Hinchliffe came to punch at the near post, and had it headed out of his own hands by Hussey, I think, who's nodded it behind for another Sadler's corner, and Chris Hussey might have caught one in the face from Hinchliffe as he attempted to punch that, Paul, I think.
Yeah, he's down just in the goal mouth there, on his crouching down. The referee's just going over to check if he's okay, but better delivery from Tom Knowles this time as from his previous corner that didn't beat the first man. Caused a few problems there.
Sadler's starting to flex their muscles a little bit here, looking for the breakthrough. 24 minutes, 0-0 on BBC Radio WM, and I follow Walsall. Knowles floated corner this time. Daniels on the rise at the far post, or beyond the far post. It's kept alive by White, but then his pass to Conley wasn't the best. And that's going to be a Stockport ball in front of the Cheadle end.
Different idea there from the Saddlers, going to the far post where Daniels and White, two of the taller members of the squad, were, and it was White picking up the second ball off Daniels. Just didn't get that pass right out to Comley, just slightly sloppy in that pass there.
So Chris Hussey with the Stockport throw near his own corner flag down to our right. Flicked on by Wootton. Olafay tussling with Daniels. It's not a heavyweight contest between those two. It's been fairly even, I think, so far. Derby County in League One, of course, these days beat their fellow League One side Barnsley comfortably by 3-1 to advance into the fourth round of the FA Cup. So the replay at Liberty Stadium, or the Swansea.com Stadium as it's officially known these days, because Bristol City and Swansea have drawn 1 apiece at Ashton Gate. Cardiff 1, Leeds 0. Jaden Philogene, good ace, who's got links with Aston Villa with that goal. I think he's just known as Philogene this season. That's what he's got written on the back of his shirt. But Jesse Marsh, Leeds manager, under a wee bit of pressure again, and going out of the FA Cup, the hands of Cardiff won't do him many favours. But the side from South Wales taking an early lead in that game. Here, Stockport 0, Walsall 0 after 26 minutes at a blustery and now cloudy Edgeley Park, but thankfully for the 1,000 or so Saddlers fans in the open railway end, it isn't raining again at the moment, as Daniels heads the ball forward, tossed back in the direction of the Walsall penalty area by Joe Lewis, and it runs through to Owen Evans. Evans immediately sends it back down the field from left to right as we look. Hussey wins it in the air. Now a glance down from Collar looking for Wood, but Daniels is there, and it's left it a little bit short, and Evans just about took it off the toe of Olafay there. Donovan Daniels played effectively a blind back pass. I didn't think he saw Olafay out the corner of his eyeball, did he?
Yeah, he's just apologised to Owen Evans there, and rightly so. He's gave Evans a lot to do, and fair play to Owen Evans. You know, he kept his concentration, got a decent turn, and the Saddlers got away with one there, but it's just lapses of concentration, isn't it? There seemed to be the only thing that is at Walsall's undoing at the minute at the back, and that's against a dangerous Stockport team. Got to be on your game.
Stockport lost their last 4 FA Cup third round ties, most recently against West Ham a couple of seasons ago. Last progressed into the fourth round in 2000-2001, knocking out Preston. They haven't got to the fourth round as a fourth tier side, Stockport, since 64-65. The Saddlers have only reached the FA Cup fourth round in one of the previous 16 seasons, in 2015-16, when they knocked out Brentford in the third round. So high time they did get into the last 32 of the world's greatest knockout cup competition. It still is, despite the attitude that some of the higher end Premier League managers take to it these days. Hayden White with this Walsall throw, level with the edge of the Stockport penalty area, headed away by Hussey, lifted further clear by Sarcevic, but more up than away. Comley wins it in the air in the heading duel with the other number 14, Collar. And now Hutchinson out to the left-hand side of Gordon. Gordon's got 2 for company there, but carries on and has forced a corner. The Stockport fans thought it was a goal kick and ricocheted back onto Liam Gordon, the Cheadle end, but referee Andrew Kitchen says corner, which is Walsall's 6th of this first half, Paul, already.
Yeah, had a number of corners now, and Tom Holes will get another opportunity. It'll be interesting to see what sort of routine, what sort of setup got up the sleeve for this one.
It's going to be a right-footed in-swinger again, of course, from Knowles. It's again all towards the far post, and Hinchliffe had a little bit of a flap at it this time and got away with it, and hoisted to safety by Rydell. Now Comley's let it bounce. Olafay is right in his boots, but Comley works it back successfully enough to Owen Evans, and Gordon out on that left-hand side, back to the Saddlers keeper again, who is standing in the left-back position, Evans, as he guides it downfield right-footed, headed away by Joe Lewis. A link up in midfield between Wootton and Hippolyte, but Monte opts it back to Evans. Floated out to the left in the direction of Gordon, breaks for Kinsella in midfield, who squeezes it to Hutchinson. Too much air on that from Kinsella, but Hutchinson successfully controlled it anyway. And White pushes it back to Donovan Daniels. Now Olafay has got Collar up with him. Olafay does a fine job of holding the ball up. Behind him is Sarcevic. And it's out to the right-hand side. And then down the side of the penalty area looking for Hippolyte, but Monte anticipating where the ball was going. It's nodded away by Lewis. One in the air by Akil Wright. Here's Monte. Collected by Collar, and Collar has been brought down by Monte, and that's a Stockport free kick. Fairly tight out to the right touchline. 0-0 after half an hour.
It's a quite finely balanced game so far, nicely poised.
This is where Walsall's concentration needs to be at its height, and just conscious of a little girl who's no more than 4 or 5 here with one of her relatives who might think that our effects microphone is a lollipop, so keep a close eye on that when she keeps turning round.
I just thought she was enjoying the commentary.
In comes the free kick from Stockport. It's ricocheted off Knowles and goes back to Evans. There's some optimistic handball shouts from the Stockport fans there. I think it was. And Evans trying to take the sting out of the situation here by holding on to the ball for a few seconds.
Isaac Hutchinson wanted it quickly on the right there. He had a bit of space and frustrated he didn't get the ball quickly. Then Evans opted to just relax.
Gurney and Paul Joannou inside Edgeley Park for Stockport 0, Walsall 0. So everybody's still in the 4th round of the FA Cup from the West Midlands as things stand, because Blues didn't play against Forest Green, was waterlogged yesterday, and Albion and Wolves were both held to draws. And the Saddlers drawing here 0-0, and Villa against Stevenage to come later. In comes the cross, and it's taken comfortably by Owen Evans. Jesse Marsh's job has come in even greater scrutiny now, because Cardiff lead 2-0 against Leeds United. Shea Ojo with the second goal for Cardiff. Jack Vale has put Blackburn 1 up at Norwich in the All-Championship FA Cup 3rd round tie. Little girl I was talking about has just been carried out. I think she might need to pay a visit down in the stand. So Monte will take this free kick for Walsall, just short of the halfway line. It's intercepted on its way to Johnson by Sarcevic. To toe in again, and now Hippolyte turns away from Kinsella. No foul. Stockport driving forward into the Walsall half. Hippolyte for Rydell. He's given him slightly too much to do there, and Hayden White with an excellent piece of recovery defending there by Walsall, or for Walsall I should say. Tosses it up towards James Taylor, but one in the air by Lewis, and Stockport have it again on the left-hand side between Sarcevic and Hussey. To Sarcevic again, but that's an aimless ball down the middle, which is straight into the chest of Owen Evans, and with 12 to go to half-time, it stays, Paul, Stockport 0, Walsall 0.
Yeah, Stockport have applied a bit of pressure in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. And causing a few problems. Hayden White did really well there to read that situation. You know, I think he saw it early, got himself across, you know, to cover Knowles, and was first to it against Rydell.
Olafay with a decent layoff there on the halfway line to Collar, and Collar driving forward down the right-hand side. In comes his cross, diving header away by Daniels, and then Gordon gets a little bit lucky with that touch to find Hutchinson, but Hutchinson nearly squeezing through to James Taylor. In fact, it's a mistake by Hussey, and James Taylor has it, but Stockport have got men back behind the ball. It wasn't the best of passes either from James Taylor out to the left-hand side, forcing Danny Johnson to retreat before he finds Monte. And now Daniels into midfield, and Kinsella at the edge of the centre circle. It has started raining again, unfortunately, so the Saddlers fans are getting wet at the moment. Long ball forward for Hutchinson, who just couldn't control it, and Lewis able to guide it back to Hinchliffe. Had Isaac Hutchinson got a first touch there, he's potentially in on goal, Paul, wasn't he?
He was. Again, he picks up some really good positions actually in those little pockets, and like he did when he had his chance, you know, the best chance of the game. Yeah. Again, if he got that touch right, he's got a shot on goal there, and from a similar position as it was before, and that could have caused all sorts of problems. Again, it's just that final touch, like that James Taylor passed to Danny Johnson. It was just behind him, wasn't it? If it's in front of him, Danny Johnson can break forward. Instead, he has to go back. So just get those moments right, and the Saddlers, you know, could be creating more clear-cut opportunities for themselves.
It's Stockport throw on halfway, which Hussey takes underneath us. Sarcevic back to Hussey again. Now Lewis across the back three for Akil Wright. Push forward down the right-hand side for Bardsley. I've seen a lot of the ball, Phil Bardsley, in this first half. Now 37-year-old, former Manchester United player once upon a time, is donating his wages to the Stockport Community Trust, which is a terrific gesture by him. Obviously he's had a successful career, so can afford to do that, but nevertheless he doesn't have to, so that's a very laudable gesture, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, it's fantastic, and that's, you know, reinvesting back into the club and the community here in Stockport, so fair play to him.
Sarcevic taking it beyond a couple of Walsall players, but Cumley was there to do some covering and knock it away for a throw which Bardsley takes, level with the edge of the Walsall penalty area. Cross is deflected in towards Olafay. It's away by Kinsella, come to Sarcevic, and this time he hits the scoreboard. He's had one that's hit the back row of the away end, one that's finished halfway up, and that's one that's the scoreboard.
Well, is the next one going to clear the away end and go out the ground?
And land on the roof of my car, which is part just behind the scoreboard.
Actually, yeah, I hope it doesn't actually. And yeah, our car's there too, so...
Anyway.
But yeah, it did drop nicely for him, and I think he's just overhit it. But again, don't want more of those situations from a Saddlers perspective of the ball just dropping out. Players on the edge of the box, they do like to commit men forward, Stockport.
9 to go to half-time, 0-0. WM listeners will be handing to Richard Wilford and Gary Thompson at Villa Park. Head to Villa against Stevenage at half-time here. Header away by Lewis, and then Hutchinson and Sarcevic finish up in a heat midway inside the Stockport half, and referee Andrew Kitchen says that will be a Hatters free kick, as they're called, a nickname, along with Luton Town. That's where Albion will be next Saturday, and I'll be there with Tony Bomber Brown at Kenilworth Road on BBC Radio WM. Hinchliffe takes the Stockport free kick. Lewis out to right on that far side. Header clear by Monte, and then Cumley and Collar both claiming it's their ball, and referee Kitchen says Stockport throw. Bardsley to take it midway inside the Walsall half of the field. Brought down by Olafay, coming deep to try and influence the play, and then Stockport run out of pitch over on the far side, and those few Saddlers fans that are undercover in that little block of seats on the far side, family stand, appreciated that. It's going to be a Walsall throw in front of them, which Monte takes. Stockport momentarily win it back, then Gordon lifts it forward into the Stockport half, but Hussey watches it back to Hinchliffe, out to the right, and Lewis. James Taylor putting him under pressure, but Lewis sends it long towards Wharton on the halfway line. Kinsella slides in on Collar. Ends up being just a throw for Stockport. Bardsley with it. Tussle between Monte and Olafay. And Manny Monte, very good job. I was really impressed by him on New Year's Day against Mansfield, particularly when they were chasing the game, Mansfield, towards the end, Paul, and they chucked Ollie Hawkins up front as well. Monte defending brilliantly in those last 10 minutes. You
know what, he's had a fantastic season. I absolutely agree with you on the Mansfield performance. You know, when the Saddlers are under pressure, he steps up to the plate, as does Donovan Daniels as well. Hayden White as well, I think he's had an excellent season, probably his best in a Saddlers shirt. So I think those three have struck up an excellent relationship. They all dovetail really well with each other, and You know, I think a lot of people would have asked the question, oh, a bit harsh on Oisin McKenzie after a man of the match performance, that, you know, Hayden White's come straight back in the side. But I think relationships are important at the back, and the fact that 3 of them have played so many games together, and, you know, the defensive record has been very good. All 3 of them individually and collectively have been fantastic. So you can understand why Michael Flynn will want to keep that unit together.
Paul Joanno with us on BBC Radio WM, and I follow Walsall alongside myself, Rob Gurney. We've got 5.5 minutes plus added time to go in this FA Cup third round tie until half time. Still Stockport 0, Walsall 0. Daniels with the clearance for the Saddlers, up to James Taylor, who turns inside the centre circle but can't work it through to Hutchinson. Instead, Hippolyte controls it, but then misses out. I thought
Knowles might have fouled Hippolyte there. Yeah. I thought he made contact.
Here is Hippolyte again. Knowles has been slightly caught wrong side of Rydell, but then recovers to deflect the ball out for a Stockport throw down to our left, which Chris Hussey is going to take. Was a left back earlier in his career, certainly when he was at Coventry, but now 34 left-sided centre-back in a 3. He's found the angle on that pass. Hussey for Rydell. Here comes his cross. Oh, and it's Comley struggling to clear and set back for Collar. And now Sarcevic drills it into a crowd of players and eventually knocked away by Hayden White. But Stockport starting to turn the screw there, didn't they?
Yeah, I think Brandon Comley missed one with a sort of an attempted flick rather than a clearance, and the ball just wouldn't go away from the penalty area, and there was a bit of a mess, and Sarcevic kept his shot down this time. This time it was blocked, and then it comes out, and eventually Walsall get it clear. But
well, here comes Stockport again with Hussey joining in from the back to Hippolyte at the edge of the penalty area. Sarcevic out to Hussey again. Hussey with the cross. Evans wasn't sure, and eventually the ball goes behind for a corner to Stockport, who are starting to threaten as we close in on half-time, breaking the deadlock.
They're moving the ball a lot quicker now, aren't they, Stockport? You know, nice little triangles there on the edge of Walsall box, and pulling the Walsall defence from pillar to post really at the moment. It's better from the host, and I think Rydell, a couple of really good crosses from that left-hand side. As you said, Elwyn Evans hesitated on that second one, you know, so those balls are causing all kinds of problems.
It's going to be Rydell to bend this Stockport corner in with his left foot from the far side. In fact, he takes it short to Hippolyte. Now push back to Bardsley. Eventually whips in from that far side. Olafay goes up. Might come for Sarcevic. In fact, James Taylor gets a touch, and before Hayden White can intervene, Collar, Stockport captain, works it back to Hinchliffe, but Hinchliffe puts too much on that clearance down the near side, and Walsall can get a bit of a breather with this throw in their own defensive third down to our left.
Yeah, I think Walsall get to half-time 0-0, take that pressure off. It's Stockport ending the first half on the ascendancy here, really growing in confidence as well.
But there's still the best chance for the Saddlers was Isaac Hutchinson's shot. It was brilliantly turned around the post by Ben Hinchliffe, who right at the beginning of the game somehow got something on Liam Gordon's cross, and then the touch from Douglas James Taylor to smuggle it out for a corner. So for all that Stockport have had some advantages, the two best chances of the game have come to Walsall so far, Paul.
Yeah, they have. I think the game's ebbed and flowed. I think both sides have had spells. I don't think either side could end this first half and say we've completely controlled that first 45 minutes or we've been the better side. It's sort of had, we have a spell, you have a spell.
Yeah. Here's Collar out to the right for Stockport and Bardsley. Infield to Olafay. Back out wide to Collar. Bardsley at the point of the Walsall penalty area. To Olafay with his back to goal, but Phil Bardsley hadn't anticipated his intentions there. And it'll be a Walsall throw, level with their own 18-yard line. 2 minutes to go until half-time. Still Stockport County 0, Walsall 0. The third round of the Emirates FA Cup. Say for BBC Radio WM listeners, Aston Villa against Stevenage to come from 4:30. Monte, the Saddlers throw, headed on by Gordon, looking for Johnson. Finishes up in a heap over on the far touchline. In fact, it's been pulled back for foul on Gordon, literally under the assistant referee's nose. Come to that together family stand, and Evans comes out of his penalty area to take this free kick. There's going to be one more opportunity for the Saddlers to nudge themselves in front before half-time. Evans waits and then strikes the ball right-footed down the far touchline. Akil Wright wins it in the air though for Stockport, turned in field by Hutchinson, and now push square for Liam Kinsella. Kinsella onto White, he's got Knowles outside him. White with the cross, initially blocked by Collar. White reacts and then finds Knowles up towards Kinsella near the point of the Stockport penalty area on this right-hand side. Stockport defending in numbers, and Rydell and Kinsella competing for the ball, and Rydell eventually gets away from Kinsella, who tried to haul him down. Daniels intercepts the ball. Cumley looking for James Taylor. Hussey in the way for Stockport. Wotton flicks it on. One added minute at the end of the first half as Donovan Daniels guides it back to Owen Evans, and the Saddlers keeper clears downfield. James Taylor heads it on, looking for Johnson. James Taylor out towards Knowles, who's got that yard on Hussey. Knowles goes down. Is it a penalty? I don't think he's given it. And how has he not given that? Can't believe that decision. That was a clear-cut penalty. Michael Flynn and Wayne Hatswell can't believe it. Knowles had got in behind Chris Hussey. He'd got that extra pace. Hussey sent him flying, and the referee says no penalty. I can't believe that decision.
Yeah, I was expecting him to punch straight to the spot, and he didn't. So it's a lovely ball from Douglas James Taylor through that gap, and Knowles, he gets ahead of his man and he touches the ball ahead as well. He's not going to go down because he's got a square ball across goal and someone's got a tap in. There was contact there, and he's obviously Knowles slips over, and I'm very surprised the referee didn't point to the spot. And there goes the half-time whistle.
There's the half-time whistle. The Saddlers fans booing. Wayne Hatswell's in the ear of the assistant referee on the near side. Danny Johnson's having his say as well, as is Brandon Cumley, and referee Andrew Kitchen is waving the Walsall players away. There's half a dozen of them now. You see White, Knowles, Kinsella, Cumley, they're all going up to the referee who's trying to send them away. Stewart having to get involved, but they're obviously convinced, and we are, that Walsall should have had a penalty there on the stroke of half-time, but somehow the referee hasn't pointed to the spot. And it wasn't as if he was obstructed.
No.
He had a clear view of the incident and somehow decided that Hussey shoving over Tom Knowles wasn't a penalty, Paul. I can't believe it, genuinely.
No, it's a bit of a surprising one. You know, you could argue, you know, it was only slight contact, but at the end of the day, it's enough contact to knock him off his balance and stop him delivering a square cross across the 6-yard box. And well, you know, Wayne Hatswell, I think, waiting for the referee. Michael Flynn waiting for the referees down in here now. It's a baffling decision in my opinion.
They need to watch themselves, because of course they don't want any possible yellow or red cards for either players or management, but you can understand their anger.
There's a lot on this game, isn't there? You know, obviously a draw would send it to a replay, and you know, there's a lot of prize money, and the rewards of this game are massive, so you can understand the frustration from everyone from a Saddlers perspective there.
So the two best chances have come for the Saddlers. Douglas James Taylor in the first couple of minutes, denied by a little touch from Ben Hinchliffe, the Stockport goalkeeper, after a cross from Liam Gordon, and then Isaac Hutchinson with a fantastic strike that we were right behind. It was arrowing towards the bottom corner before Hinchliffe produced another fantastic one-handed save this time to turn the ball round the post for a corner. And then that hugely controversial incident right on the stroke of half-time. Tom Knowles, for us, clearly fouled by Chris Hussey, but referee Andrew Kitchen said no penalty. And we've reached the break in this FA Cup third-round tie, and it's Stockport County 0, Walsall 0.
The A to Z of Rakim Omar at breakfast.
What does F stand for?
Family. Tell us about your family, Rakim.
Okay, so I have 2 younger brothers, so I'm the oldest, and then my mum and my dad.
I mean, what's it like for your mum, though, having 3 boys? all in the same family, and at some point you were all under the same roof as well.
Yeah, so it was only up until last year where we were all living in that house, 3 sons and a husband, and we're all very different personalities. My middle brother, he's just a complete character, thinks he's actually the funniest, and I think that's me. And then my youngest brother is probably the most balanced of everybody, to be fair. So if we had cameras, it would be the weirdest show.
Rakim Omar at breakfast. Back in the morning when you wake up on BBC Radio WM.
So goal is still at half-time here at Edgeley Park between Stockport and the Saddlers. For BBC Radio WM listeners, when we've finished here, we've got our 4th FA Cup third round tie of the weekend. We were due to have 5, but Blues game at Forest Green Rovers was called off due to a waterlogged pitch yesterday lunchtime. The man that had made his way all the way down to Gloucestershire to find the game was off is at Villa Park this afternoon. Aston Villa against Stevenage is the match he'll be watching alongside the former Villa striker Gary Thompson. It's Richard Wilford. Afternoon, Richard.
Afternoon to you, Rob. I don't know whether it's just me, but it's just absolutely lashed it down again. It's like it's following me around the country. The clouds are dark, but I think we'll be fine. Good drainage, of course, here at Villa Park, as Aston Villa try and win an FA Cup game for the first time in 7 years. 2016, a replay against Wycombe was the last time. That was at the third round stage. They went out in round 4, and they haven't enjoyed success since. Tomo, it's about time, isn't it?
Definitely about time, but we seem to have drew Man United most of the games, and obviously every time we drew Man United it never worked out in Villa's favour, but yeah, it's about time. We've started playing okay, things have gone pretty well so far. We got the result against Spurs the other day, dodgy first half performance against Wolves, but I think there'll be a few changes today, but I still expect Villa to be strong enough to go and win this game.
A week ago I thought one of those changes that we'd see Cameron Archer make a start. He's no longer at the club, he's gone off on loan to Middlesbrough. Are you surprised?
Not surprised now, because there was a lot of, I think every Championship club was trying to get him at the start of the season, and the managers seem to want to keep him there, so you're thinking he's going to keep him there, so he's obviously going to give him games. He keeps him there, doesn't get many games, he gets a few minutes here and there, but obviously for me, for the lad's future, for his development, he's got to get himself away and playing games, and when it came to Christmas I thought he was always going to get yourself out on loan just for till the rest of the season.
This is a veteran Stevenage side. They're one of the favourites for promotion in League 2. Yeah, there's 56 places between these two, but they're under the redoubtable Steve Evans. They are not going to be reluctant to put in a challenge. They're not going to be reluctant to throw their weight around. They're going to be a very, very tough opponent.
Any team managed by Steve Evans is always very strong, very resolute, decent on set pieces. They defend very, very well. They're very physical. It's just going to be a tough game for Villa. As you're saying, it's a bit of a veteran side, ageing side. The goals are spread around the team. So you would think if Villa do this right, it might take 50, 60 minutes, but you would imagine the fitness of the Villa players, the strength of the Villa players should shine through, and the ability of the Villa players. And towards the end of the game, you expect them to run out comfortable winners. But if Stevenage get a goal early on, they've got something to hang on to, then it'll be a very interesting game.
I hope somebody's warned Unai Emery about what he's in for this afternoon, because Steve Evans will man-mark him at times. I mean, it is extraordinary what goes on around the dugout area when he's involved.
I've been around Steve Evans and I've seen him when I was coaching and whatever. He's a very, very aggressive, fiery little man, and he's wherever he is, you hear him, he lets everybody know, and he expects the certain amount of quality from his players all the time, and a certain amount of effort from his players all the time, or he lets you know, and he lets everybody know. He's just a very, very fiery character, and as you say, if Unai's not used to that, which he probably isn't, he's probably never come across anyone like Steve Evans before, this could be an eye-opener for him today.
It really could. Full match commentary ahead at 4:30. By then, we'll know who our teams have drawn or provisionally drawn in round 4, because the draw is due at around 4:05 today. So we'll have an idea, because it's been a weird weekend. Of course, Walsall very much in play. Second half coming live with Rob Gurney very shortly. 0-0 at Stockport after a penalty wasn't awarded that should have been in first half stoppage time. And yesterday, our other 3 clubs, well, they all made sure they were in the draw one way or another. Blues didn't even get to play their tie at Forest Green. Albion needed a last-ditch equaliser at Chesterfield, thanks to a second goal of the game from Brandon Thomas Asante, and Wolves are in the draw after an excellent performance by a much changed team. That said, Julian Lopetegui felt they were hard done by at Liverpool.
a casual throw out, and Hodges won the ball, and a challenge on the edge of the penalty area by Thiago. Down has gone to Mendes, and Alisson lost the ball, and Guedes has scored. Alisson looking downfield, didn't see Guedes hovering in front of him. He nearly caught them out once, and now Guedes on patrol has caught them out. Stole the ball from the goalkeeper, rammed it into the net, and Wolves lead 1-0. Collins trying to hit the ball away, but he's hit it only into the path of Alexander-Arnold. Starting a counter for Liverpool, great pass, and a brilliant goal by Nunez. Gosh, that was well taken. Alexander-Arnold forward on the right, played a diagonal ball into the penalty area, and Nunez, on the full sprint, needed only one touch to knock it past Sarkic, but it was a delicate touch. Awkward defensive header by Totti, and it's forward for Salah. It's 2-1. A chip into the penalty area, and Totti got slightly underneath it, headed it more up than away, and while he tried to regain his composure, Salah took the ball and knocked it into the net.
And the ball is cleared, it's coming back for Wolves with Hwang has got it now. Hwang's running at the penalty area, he's got Cunha outside him to the left, and Hwang going, it's gone in! It's in under the goalkeeper, and it's 2 each. Hwang linking up with Cunha, the two substitutes. Hwang with a toe poke from about 6 yards out, and maybe it deflected off a defender, but it certainly went under Alisson. And it's rolled in front of the Wolves fans, and with 24 minutes still to play, and it's 2-2 at Anfield. He takes the corner, Collins with a bit of that, but it's come out off a defender, out to Mateus Nunes again, driving it in from the left, clear to Hwang, Hwang to Totti, it's 3-2, Totti's got it, takes his shirt off, he's gone sprinting for the corner, Totti is jubilant, but the flag's up, it's not going to stand. It says Wolves goal on the screen, but it's wiped off, and Totti, oh dear, he's going to have to put the shirt back on.
We are happy for the performance, we have it for the players, but not happy with the score, because I think we scored 3 goals, and unfortunately for us, we still offside in 1 goal that doesn't exist, so we have to accept. We have had big chances to win this match. I don't remember a lot of chances of Liverpool. It was a pity, but we have to accept. We have to be ready for the next match, and this is all.
What has the referee said to you about the decision that was made?
He heard our arguments. We told he was very polite. I want to see to tell this, because it's not usual in Spain to talk with the referee in the dressing room. So I am grateful for this possibility. I think it's a very good thing for all. And we show him different image that is very clear that doesn't exist offside. But this is all.
And finally, for me, you changed the team around a lot tonight, because obviously you have a big game on Wednesday against Nottingham Forest. How much did you learn about your players tonight?
No, but we think, because we have played in 3 days ago, and the rhythm that Liverpool demand is enormous. We need today to have players that are ready to accept this rhythm and to be able to overcome this kind of opponents. That's why we have the confidence in all the players, and it's a good chance for them to show that they are able to play with us. This is all.
For a young player like Dexter to make his first start on a big occasion like this at this ground, that says a lot for his character. You must believe in a player like him.
Yes, I think that he has shown. Hochi, they have shown a good character, personality, why not quality, because they are able to play here, and they have to believe in themselves. This is not about the age, or this is about the quality, the character, and to be ready to compete in this level. I think they are ready to help us in the next matches.
The confidence, the belief, the change in this team since you've been here in a short space of time working with these players, what have you noticed most of all?
Yeah, but it's only one step. The real situation is that we are in the bad position in the league. And this is the most important thing. We have to change it. You know, about 1, 2, 3 matches. We have to be ready. I repeat a lot, but it's true. To be ready to arrive in the last match, in the last minute, to achieve our aim. So, and that's why we have to be strong in our mind, believe in ourselves, of course, and work very hard for each match.
There does seem to be that belief within this team that they can get out of this position that they find themselves in.
I think that they have a big commitment. The demanding is big in each term, and he has been continuing the same way, and we have shown all in the daily work, and I am happy with his commitment. But I repeat, it's only one step. It's only a start. We have in front of us 5 months very hard, and in the same time very exciting for us.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes, I enjoy a lot. It's impossible to enjoy in this environment and in this kind of matches. This is England, this is the cup.
Julian Lopetegui talking after Wolves' somewhat controversial 2-2 draw with Liverpool at Anfield yesterday, which means a third round replay for them, as it also does for Albion, who were held to a 3-3 draw, an absolutely compelling FA Cup tie by Chesterfield yesterday. The players are about to retake the field here at Edgeley Park. Stockport 0, Walsall 0. It stays after the first 45 minutes, but other ties are either in progress or already over in the third round of the FA Cup today. Andrew Dawkins has the latest.
Yes, Bristol City 1, Swansea 1 and Derby 3, Barnsley 0. Those are both full times. As for the half-time scores elsewhere, Cardiff 2, Leeds 0, Hartlepool 0, Stoke 2, Norwich 0, Blackburn 1. And coming later at 4:30, Manchester City against Chelsea. And of course, Villa against Stevenage, live on BBC Radio WM.
Andrew, thank you. The Walsall players are out for the start of the second half. I'm sure Michael Flynn will be boiling mad, particularly if the Saddlers don't go on to win this match, with the decision that the referee didn't make right on the stroke of half-time. But Paul Joannou rejoining me here in the press box at Edgeley Park. Whatever the wrongs of that decision, and you know, we don't need to see it again to say it was a penalty, because it was. They can't let that undermine their performance in the second half now, can they?
No, they've got to switch back on, refocus. I think perhaps half-time came at a good time for the Saddlers, just to regroup from that sort of setback, if you like. But other than that, I think it's probably been the best performance against Stockport so far this season out of the 3 performances. So there's definitely signs of encouragement, but I think you can see why the two teams are the informed teams in League Two. They're both playing with a lot of confidence. They both look dangerous going forward, and it's finely poised.
Yeah, Walsall all in red, then Stockport in blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks. Doesn't look like either Michael Flynn or Dave Challoner have made any changes during the half-time interval. So this is the Walsall side then. Owen Evans in goal, Hayden White, Donovan Daniels and Manny Monte at the back. Tom Knowles, Liam Kinsella, Brandon Comley and Liam Gordon across the middle, and Isaac Hutchinson behind Douglas James Taylor and Danny Johnson. On the Saddlers bench, Connor Wilkinson, Andy Williams, Jacob Maddox, Oisin McKenty, Taylor Allen, Joe Lowe, Ronan Mayer, Robbie Wilmot, George Barrett. And Stockport, Ben Hinchliffe in goal, Akil Wright, Joe Lewis and Chris Hussey, their 3 centre-backs. Phil Bardsley and Ryan Rydell, the wing-backs. Will Collar, Anthony Sarcevic and Miles Hippolyte in midfield. Isaac Olafay and Kyle Wotton up front, as referee Andrew Kitchen gets us off and underway. The Saddlers playing from right to left towards that 1,000-strong following behind Hinchliffe's goal in this second half. And Kinsella with an early touch of the ball in midfield. Back to Gordon, his near side now as we look in the second period. Kinsella forced back to Monte, plays it up to James Taylor. And square for Hutchinson, almost worked it through to Danny Johnson, but enough blue shirts are back there. And Joe Lewis lifts it up towards Wotton. Hooked forward by Comley. James Taylor underneath it. Here's Johnson, twisting and turning midway inside the Stockport half, but then outnumbered by home defenders, and Bardsley tosses it forward in the direction of Olafay. One in the air by Monte. Daniels looking for Gordon, but a scruffy start to the second half. Both sides conceding cheap possession. And right to Lewis, and across to Hussey. The three Stockport centre-backs all combining, and now worked out to Rydell on that left-hand side. James Taylor goes to engage Lewis. Hinchliffe, a long right-footed diagonal clearance that holds up a little bit in the gusty wind at times. It's a bit blustery. There's some flags at the back of that open away end that are fairly taut at times, peering underneath the roof line of the stand that we're sitting in here. As Liam Gordon collects, goes down under challenge from Sarcevic. That's going to be a Walsall free kick about 15 yards in from this near touchline. A couple of minutes in, so a little bit scruffy, both sides giving the ball back to one another in these opening couple of minutes, Paul, since the break.
Yeah, hasn't really set fire just yet this second half. Sadler's in with a free kick here with Manny Monf, sending everyone forward.
With his socks rolled up over his knees, which seems to be quite the in vogue thing footballers these days. Gordon down the left for Hutchinson. Work back for Comley in a bit of space, about 30 yards from goal. The cross isn't bad, although it was well defended by Hussey. Turned back forward by Kinsella. Lewis with the header away. Kinsella trying to cushion it for Johnson, but Lewis intercepts. Well, it's regathered by Liam Gordon, and Hutchinson keeps it alive on this left-hand side. Into the channel for Gordon to run onto, and in comes Bardsley sliding in, but it is going to be the Saddlers' 7th corner of this time, first of the second half.
7 corners already for the Saddlers. Wow, it's been plenty of them, and we've seen 2 towards the near post and 2 deep towards beyond the far post. I think again Liam Gordon's coming over as a slight change. Outswinger.
It will be an outswinger with his left foot. There are plenty in red for him to try and pick out inside the Stockport penalty area. In fact, he rolls it along the byline to Comley, back to Gordon again. It's a curious pass, but Kinsella keeps it, but then as Wotton comes herring towards him, he's forced Kinsella to go all the way back to Evans, who sends it long in the direction of Gordon, but Bardsley heads clear. Hutchinson picks up the bits and pieces on the near side. Sarcevic goes to ground under Hutchinson's challenge, and that looks like a cheap free kick, but the referee has given it Stockport's way.
It looked like he'd already sort of slipped before Hutchinson had made the challenge. Still scratching my head about the penalty decision.
Well, I am as well, Paul. I mean, again, you know, I don't want to be proved wrong, but if I am wrong, I shall say so. But I don't need to see a replay. You know, we've seen it in real time, 2 pairs of eyes, and it was a penalty. Hussey shoved Knowles over, end of story. Anyway, Walsall have got themselves a free kick now out on the right-hand side, and White is going to leave it for Knowles to take. Daniels has peeled off towards the back of the Stockport penalty area. Monte is in that group as well. Hutchinson, Johnson, James Taylor there or thereabouts. It's a high hanging one, and far too high from Tom Knowles. He's put far too much on that.
Yeah, I think you could tell the moment it left his boot, he put way too much on it, and you could predict the destination.
If it was a golfer, that would have either gone into the rough or a bunker, wouldn't it, I think?
Yeah.
It over-hit it. It's a Stockport goal kick that they've taken short. Here's Wright in towards Collar, goes down into Kinsella's challenge, but the referee says play on, and Akil Wright has given Olafay a little bit too much to do, has he there? Yes, he has eventually, although Olafay made a very decent attempt to try and catch up with the ball, but fractionally ran out of pitch. And it's a goal kick at the Cheadle end of Edgeley Park, which Owen Evans, the Walsall goalkeeper, will take. We've had nearly 6 minutes since the break. Still a deadlock to be broken here on BBC Radio WM, and I follow Walsall with Rob Gurney and Paul Joannou. It's Stockport County 0, Walsall 0. Evans, all in yellow, takes the goal kick. Looking for Johnson. Hussey at his back, headed it into touch for a Walsall throw, which White prepares to take on the halfway line, or thereabouts, just inside the Stockport half, in fact, towards Douglas James Taylor, but Stockport regather at the back. And Akil Wright finds Hinchliffe, and Danny Johnson across there to try and put him off, and effectively did his job, as catcalling from the Walsall fans behind him, because the Stockport goalkeeper has played it straight into touch for a Walsall throw. And now Andy Williams is going to come on with 7 minutes gone since half-time and replace Douglas James Taylor, who had that very early opportunity that he couldn't take. But now Williams joins Johnson up top for Walsall.
I mean, Michael Finn's gone pretty early in the second half with the change, which is quite interesting. Obviously, Williams, the hero of Edgeley Park,
yes,
back in October. Can he produce something similar again?
Got an 88th minute equaliser to salvage a point for the Saddlers that day.
Of course.
1-1 draw.
Late heroics in the FA Cup as well, scored the equaliser against Carlisle United.
Yes.
I think 88 minutes as well. So we'll see when the clock ticks towards 88 minutes. I think Andy Williams will.
Cobley tosses it forward. Johnson and Williams both challenging for the ball. Here is Johnson, good ball for Gordon! 1-0! Liam Gordon, but the flag's up. It's not going to count. It's not going to count. The flag's gone up. Liam Gordon thought he'd given the Saddlers the lead. The 1,000 or more Walsall fans behind that goal thought he'd given the Saddlers the lead. The assistant referee's flag rules it out.
Oh. It was a really good move. Williams, instant impact already with the great little touch to Johnson, and then Johnson finds the run of Liam Gordon, and it's a good finish actually. I think he beats the keeper through his legs or something like that. But yeah, straight away the linesman flagged and ruled the goal out for offside, and Saddlers fans thought they had their moment there, but it was almost an immediate impact from Andy Williams, who was involved in the move.
It was. Saddlers have had a stonewall penalty turned down, now a goal ruled out for offside. Hopefully it's not going to be one of those days. 8 minutes since the break.
Got the fans singing again.
It has. Not quite singing in the rain at the moment. It has dried up again behind that goal, but as the natural daylight fades, you have cloud around, floodlights on now, providing some additional illumination of the playing surface. And Akil Wright's throw for Olafay went down, but it's no free kick, only a throw-in to Stockport near the edge of the Walsall penalty area. The Saddlers winning 2-0 at Wickham in the first round, and then from nowhere, late on, beat Carlisle by 2-1 in round 2. Here's Collar for Stockport, midway inside the Walsall half. Blue shirts buzzing around the ball again at Edgeley Park, with Sarcevic threading one down the right for Collar. Collar with the cross through the penalty area, and it needs Knowles to deal with it, and he has hooked it away, Tom Knowles. Hussey will settle for the throw for Stockport over on the far side, which he himself takes, and then Wootton, or rather Hippolyte, goes down under White's challenge, and Miles Hippolyte having a nibble at Hayden White, and Andrew Kitchen has finally given Walsall a free kick on the halfway line for the foul on Hayden White, despite the Stockport fans protesting vehemently to the contrary over on the far side.
Yeah, that's it, but I think it's the crowd have livened up for both sets of teams all of a sudden with that disallowed goal, and Stockport reacting to that. Will Collar with a really good cross on that right hand side. We know how dangerous he is with his deliveries, and it was a wicked ball across that Knowles had eventually dealt with well, but he's got a free kick here on the right side. Let's hope he can improve on his last one.
Yes, the shank that ended up in the Walsall fans, that's a better one from Knowles to the edge of the penalty area, causing a bit of confusion, but Wright eventually clears for Stockport up to Olafay. in a bit of a foot race with Liam Gordon, and Olafay has done well against Gordon. Olafay with the cross, and it's hooked away by Knowles. A very important clearance by Tom Knowles just outside his own 6-yard box. Hippolyte trying to pick up the bits and pieces, but Danny Johnson got a touch. Now Knowles threads it down the right-hand side for Andy Williams. Lewis with the touch though, prods it away for a Walsall throw.
Oh, Olafay's been dangerous all afternoon, and he proved it again there. He's really quick. Liam Gordon's lightning quick as well, and he managed to beat him for pace there on that right-hand side, and got a good ball in. Knowles did well to recover and get into a good position to head it away, and then the Sadlers are breaking. I think it was Knowles with the ball down that channel to Andy Williams, gave him something to chase, and I think Andy Williams has actually made a bit of a difference since coming on.
Ty's coming to the boil again, you feel. 11 minutes since half-time, still 0-0 though, here at Edgeley Park. Stoke 3 up now at Hartlepool. Ronnie Menayessa on loan from the Sadlers with another own goal there, or an own goal. It's headed behind by Wootton for another Walsall corner, number 8 of this tie. And one of these has got to count in terms of producing a goal, Paul, hasn't it?
Yeah. Did you say it was the 8th corner of the game? Yeah. So, with the Wayne Hatswell, drew a lot of praise for his routine for the goal in the second goal, against Mansfield, and I'm sure he's got something else planned up his sleeve. Maybe he pulled one of the lads over at half-time and came up with something.
Yeah, it was when Liam Kinsella ghosted in at the far post with a header, all 5'8" up in.
Well, he's the only man. He's the only man back for Walsall, Liam Kinsella, so he won't be scoring from this one.
No. Gordon with the corner to the near post. It's headed away. Trying to keep it alive, the Sadlers at the edge of the Stockport 18-yard box. Donovan Daniels comes to retrieve it, and then lets go a shot that's deflected. It's headed away by Wootton back there defending. Daniels looking for Knowles, but on the slide to intercept is Bardsley.
Hutchinson was free in the middle with his arms out in the air screaming for the ball, and again frustrated not to get it.
Long from Owen Evans towards Hayden White, who's stayed forward from that corner a few moments ago. Stockport under a bit of pressure but clear, and now Bardsley's got more time to bring the ball down and feed it out to Rydell over on the left-hand side, the opposite wing-back for Stockport. Back to Hussey, and now Lewis. Wright available as the third member of the centre-back trio if Lewis wants to use him, but he's storming through the middle at the moment, Joe Lewis, before laying it off to Will Collar. Collar wide to Bardsley. Infield to Collar. This is about 35 yards from the Walsall goal. Sarcevic takes over and feeds Hussey. On it goes to Rydell near the point of the Walsall penalty area. Cross half blocked by Tom Knowles. Knowles gets a slightly lucky connection on that. Hutchinson sends it further downfield towards Danny Johnson, but tied it up by Joe Lewis. The Stockport fans believe that they can force the breakthrough here as they come forward again with Wright. Wootton trying to roll Daniels, both pulling each other's shirts. Bardsley trying to feed it into the penalty area for Hippolyte. It's half away. Monte temporarily holds up Bardsley, and then Monte is definitely caught. It's Sarcevic there, and that's going to be a free kick to Stockport to the right of centre, about 30 yards from goal, and potential trouble here for Manny Monte, Paul, isn't it?
I think it'd be harsh if it's a booking. I think it's a clear foul, so it is a foul, but I actually don't think there was a lot he could do there because he was coming at such pace and Manny Monte was in the way. He didn't actually stick a leg out, he just made contact and touched him down, so rightly so he doesn't get a yellow card.
He gets a stern lecture but no more from Andrew Kitchen, the referee. We've had nearly an hour. Remains goalless in the FA Cup third round. Stockport and the Sadlers, but this is a Stockport set-piece opportunity with Rydell and Bardsley, the two wing-backs standing over it. Favours the angle, the right foot of Bardsley, you would have thought, unless Rydell is going to have a surprise strike at goal with his left. It is going to be Bardsley to lift it in and head it towards goal. The flag's gone up. It's a good save by Evans anyway, but the flag instantly went up, so even if it had crept past Owen Evans, then it wouldn't have counted.
Yeah, I think that's the closest Stockport have come to taking the lead, and albeit the offside flag is up to spare the Sadlers from that one, but I said earlier in the game that I think it's sort of ebbed and flowed. Both teams have had spells. I think I'd say Walsall probably done a bit more with their spells, haven't they?
Yeah, well, they had a clearer cut chances, really. Certainly going back to Douglas James Taylor's one right at the start of the game, and Hutchinson's fantastic strike that was equally well saved by Hinchcliffe for a corner. Then we had that penalty incident, which would doubtless be a major talking point, particularly if the Saddlers don't win this after the game, when Knowles was clearly fouled by Hussey, but the referee didn't give it. And then Liam Gordon having a goal disallowed for offside 7 minutes into this second half. Another Stockport free kick, which they've already taken out to the left-hand side, and Rydell, here's Hussey joining in from the back to Hippolyte at the point of the penalty area. Rydell trying to roll his way past Knowles, it comes in, and poked wide by Olafay. How on earth has he missed that? He's down on his haunches, Isaac Olafay. Stockport fans around us, open-mouthed, literally, that didn't go in. Owen Evans got a hand on the initial cross on the left-hand side. I can't repeat what the fans just said in front of us. I'm pretty good at lip reading. Olafay has somehow put that chance wide from what, 2-3 yards, Paul?
How's that not gone in? It feels like a similar one to James Taylor's, but Rydell does excellently on the left of the cross. Evans had to get something on it. Unfortunately, goes straight back into danger, and well, Olafay doesn't have much time, but somehow he goes wide. I think fans here were celebrating and stood up so we couldn't actually see it go wide. You know, they were already celebrating, thinking it was a goal.
Well, that is a big let-off.
Big let-off, yeah.
It stays 0-0, and it's going to be a Stockport throw over on the far side, which Hussey will take into Hippolyte, blocked by Hutchinson. And it's going to be another Stockport throw. And it's going to be Hussey to take it midway inside the Stockport half of the field. Hippolyte for Hussey, who moves in off the touchline and goes back to Hinchcliffe. Long ball down the middle. Monte comes to win it with his head. Now Johnson got a sight of goal. Goes for the early one, and it's gone in! Hinchcliffe, it was off his line, got hands on it, but couldn't keep it out. And Danny Johnson has his 14th goal of the season in front of the 1,000-strong Saddlers supporters, many of whom come pouring towards the front of that open stand. Johnson spotted Ben Hinchcliffe off his line. Hinchcliffe got hands to it as he desperately backtracked, but only succeeded in helping it into the Stockport net. Danny Johnson will get the goal. It's Stockport 0, Walsall 1.
Oh, look at the scenes in the away end. Everyone's absolutely bouncing. What a goal from Danny Johnson. Tommy Knowles, look at him there, getting the fans going again. Got to praise Manny Monf. What a header that was, by the way, from his own half. Such a powerful header. It's almost like a through ball over the top. Brilliant. And then you've obviously got Andy Williams there as a decoy. I think Danny Johnson, you know what's on his mind. He didn't want to square it to Williams. He wanted to go for goal. Lifts it over Hinchcliffe, and you're thinking, oh, has the goalie just got enough there? But it just drops in, squeezes into the net, and the Saddlers take the lead just after Stockport came so close. What a time to score.
14 for the season for Danny Johnson. Of course, Michael Flynn was telling me the other day his loan from Mansfield runs out on the 15th of this month. Need to get it done. Either at the very least extend the loan until the end of the season, but those are conversations that need to happen in the next week. But 14 for Danny Johnson for the season, and it was just tantalisingly out of Hinchcliffe's grasp. He got both hands on it, but only succeeded in helping it into the net, Paul. But as you say, scenes in the away end. And
love it, look at them.
The supporters, a lot of them came tumbling to the front to celebrate with Danny Johnson and the rest of his teammates. The Saddlers at the moment heading for round 4.
Oh, they were hugging and kissing in that away end, weren't they?
1-0 to Walsall on BBC Radio WM and the Saddlers iFollow service. Hussey turns and clears. In the way is Comley. Might rebound out towards the goal scorer Johnson on the far side. Hussey with the clearance once again. Here's Kinsella. Back to Hayden White. White goes all the way back to Owen Evans. Can the Saddlers stay in the lead and make it through to the last 32 of the FA Cup? Here comes Akil Wright for Stockport, looking for Collar. Monte with the clearance, as Paul was saying, a tremendous assist with a headed pass by Manny Monte for Danny Johnson to do the rest with the lob, but now it might reach Bardsley on the near side, not quite. Donovan Daniels, the Saddlers skipper, comes across to take it off Bardsley's toe and clear it away for a Stockport throw. Really warmed up now, this tie. 66 minutes on the watch. Walsall leading 1-0. Bardsley chipping it to the point of the penalty area. Hippolyte slipped. Collar's shot's blocked by Monte. Williams can't keep possession. Instead, it's squared to Collar, 25 yards from goal. Now Bardsley on the corner of the box. Deflected back to Collar. Collar lifts it in. Headed away by White. Bardsley collects again on his left foot this time, and Owen Evans with a tremendous claim on the far post. He's gone down, having been eased to the floor, I think, by Kyle Wotton on the back post there. But Owen Evans, of course, will take a little bit of time out of the game and make sure that the Saddlers draw the sting from Stockport a wee bit here. But Danny Johnson, fabulous goal. Look forward to seeing that back again later on the BBC Sport website, and match of the day later on. That was some lob. See instantly what was in his mind, Paul, as you said. He wasn't going to square it to Andy Williams. No. He was going for goal because Hinchliffe was, what, 5-6 yards off his line. Yeah,
it's an audacious attempt, even then. And he just gets enough on it, doesn't he? Even though Hinchliffe manages to get some form of a hand in it. As you said, he, if anything, he helped it into the net.
1-0 to Walsall. BBC Radio WM, and the Saddlers iFollow service for Radio WM listeners. Villa against Stevenage to come at 4:30. The team news for that game will be out in the next couple of minutes. I suspect Unai Emery will ring a number of changes against one of League Two's high flyers under the character that is Steve Evans. Let's leave it there. Long throw from Knowles towards the near post. Helped on, looking for Daniels. There's a big shout from the away end for maybe a handball. Walsall trying to keep it alive, and then Monte goes down at the edge of the D. Stockport have cleared, and now it's a race between Olafay and Gordon, and Gordon's done tremendously well there one-on-one to nick the ball away from Olafay for a Stockport throw.
Yeah, Saddlers have a man down in the Stockport box. I think it's Danny Johnson. Just going to get some treatment now. He's holding his face, but yeah, as you say, Liam Gordon in his last foot race, Olafay got the better of him. This time Gordon gets it absolutely spot on, keeps up with him and gets a great early footing and puts the ball away from a throw-in, and a bit of respite for the Saddlers.
We head towards the last 20 minutes now. This is where the game's going to get stretched, and of course Stockport, you'd have thought, are going to commit more men forward, potentially in search of an equaliser here. They're going to make a double change by the looks of it, Stockport. Bring on Connor Evans and Ollie Crankshaw. Fourth official just programming the required information into his electronic board. As Johnson is back on his feet, having received treatment. Here comes the first of those changes. Bardsley being withdrawn. At 37 these days. He's quite got a full 90 in his legs. And the other change sees Olafay withdrawn, and Connor Evans, Connor Lemonhay Evans to give him his full name, is coming on. Slightly surprised that Olafay's coming off, Paul.
Took the words out of my mouth there, Rob. I was just about to say the same thing, but I don't know if it's a case of he's not really trained much with the team since joining, or not had much game time at Millwall, so isn't quite up to speed. I'm not. I think he's been one of their most threatening players.
In comes the cross to the left-hand side. Collar with the header, and Gordon got a deflection on that. I think it might have been heading towards goal. It's deflected behind off Gordon for a Stockport corner, their third of the game. Cardiff 2 Leeds 1. Rodrigo has got one back for the Premier League side, but the Championship team from the Welsh capital still holding sway in that FA Cup third round tie. Here the Saddlers are one up, but defending a Stockport corner, and it goes to the edge of the 6-yard box, chested down by Knowles. The Stockport crowd appealed for a penalty, but not the players, and Knowles has turned on the afterburners here. It's a fantastic run. Gordon's up with him. It's still Tom Knowles, blue shirts funneling back. He's got to the point of the penalty area and squared it now for Hutchinson. Hutchinson onto White over on the far side. The initial momentum has been lost, but the Saddlers still have it with White towards the far post, and Gordon with the header back, and it's headed away by Crankshaw. Stockport can't clear their lines properly though. Knowles with the header as he runs onto the ball, but it ends up floating wide for a goal kick to Stockport.
What a run from Tom Knowles. Deep in his own half, right to the Stockport penalty area. When he gets going, when he gets motoring, he's a machine, he's electric. And as the song says, indestructible. And well, that started everything off for the Saddlers. In the end, it was a bit of a patient move as he got forward. I think Hutchinson then back out to Gordon. I think Gordon's header back across goal is exactly where you want it. You just need someone to gamble, don't you?
Exactly. He's not quite indestructible at this precise moment, Tom Knowles, because he's the one sitting down inside the penalty area needing a little bit of treatment. But the Saddlers 18 minutes plus added time away from the last 32 of the FA Cup, which they've only reached once the previous 16 seasons, 2015-16, so high time they got there again. The draw for round 4 is going to be around about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and of course if they hang on to this advantage they'll be hoping and praying for a Premier League big boy away from home.
Have to keep an eye on that, just as we're doing post-match, if the Saddlers progress of course, or if it's a draw.
Michael Flynn, I mentioned earlier on, has got previous with Newport against the likes of Spurs and Manchester City.
I've just seen him send Oshie McKenty out to warm up, so you wonder if he's going to be withdrawn for Knowles, who's just had treatment. He has come back on, Tom Knowles.
As Williams hooks it forward, but Johnson won't catch up with that. Hinchliffe drops it outside his penalty area and arrows it right-footed to this near side, where Crankshaw brings it down. And the substitutes, right. Crankshaw again. Is Lewis along the floor for Akil Wright, but Walsall forcing Stockport to go backwards. And they go all the way back to the goalkeeper Hinchliffe. High looking for Evans. It's headed away by Kinsella, but Sarcevic picks up the threads over on the far side. Rydell into the point of the penalty area, and Hippolyte trying to keep the pressure on, and Rydell. And here comes Sarcevic, shoots into the crowd, back with Rydell. Again shouts for handball, haven't got it away. They have now through Liam Gordon, who's been debilitated by that block. And then Wotton goes up with a header, nodded away by Knowles, back in from Collar. 2 Walsall players going for the same ball. Hippolyte with the acrobatic effort, and Donovan Daniels has taken that full in the face. The Stockport fans are furious, but Daniels looks like not quite knocked out cold, but he certainly took that full in the face at point blank range, the Saddlers.
Yeah, that was a whack straight on the face. As you say, point blank range from a fierce acrobatic effort from Hippolyte.
Yeah. Anyway, while there is this pause for Donovan Daniels to regain his composure, shall we say, let's head to Villa Park for the team news. Aston Villa against Stevenage in the third round of the Cup. Richard Wilford.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. 8 changes made. The only players retained by Unai Emery are Cash, Douglas Luiz and Bailey, who might want to get that last-ditch chance out of his mind from midweek. So Olsen on his birthday in goal. A back 4 of Cash, Chambers, Bednarek and Augustinson. Looks like a midfield 3 of Sanson, Dendoncker and Luiz, and a front 3 of Coutinho, Ings and Bailey. Quite a strong bench, in fairness. All the other senior players are involved, the likes of Watkins and Mings. The youngster Caden Young is there, and also Jacob Ramsey for the first time after injury.
Thank you, Richard. BBC Radio WM. Will be full commentary from 4:30 on Aston Villa against Stevenage. Well, Jonathan Daniels has got his faculties back, it would appear. He's coming out to the near side before being allowed back on. Robbie Wilmot is coming on for his Sadler's debut, and it's Danny Johnson, scorer of potentially the winning goal, who is coming off. His 14th of the season and gets heralded once more by the travelling Sadler's fans behind that goal as they urged the ball over the line from Johnson's lob, and it did wriggle between the palms of Hinchliffe and into that corner of the net. And Robbie Wilmot on. It's the first time we've seen him in a Sadler's shirt, who once upon a time played with Michael Flynn at Newport.
Yeah, I think Wayne Hatswell played with as well, he said in his interview with us, so obviously knows the management team exceptionally well. They trust him, he's versatile, and his crossing ability has been highlighted both by himself and by Michael Flynn, so be interesting to see how he gets on. He's slotted in the middle here, one of the many positions he can fill in.
And Stockport's club captain Paddy Madden, 9 goals so far this season, is stripped and ready to come on to, well, at this point in time, from Stockport's point of view, force a replay at Bescott with Sadler's leading 1-0. And Hayden White wins a free kick over on the far side, and you can sense the frustration growing amongst the Stockport fans, and that's music to the Sadler's ears, certainly. Rydell is the man being withdrawn by Dave Challoner. And here comes Paddy Madden, very experienced, 32 years of age, Irishman. Scored goals for Fleetwood, Scunthorpe, Yeovil down the years. This sort of League 2 level, he's a big threat, isn't he?
Massively, yeah. He's been very successful in League 1, and Stockport managed to pluck him out of the league, and he played a massive part in them getting promoted to the Football League. 9 goals so far, it's a decent return. And one of them was against the Sadlers here, I think, in October.
It's nodded back by Hussey to Hinchliffe. The Sadlers 12 minutes plus added time away from the 4th round of the FA Cup, leading here at Stockport by Danny Johnson's goal on 64 minutes. Here's Madden though for Stockport, just outside the area, finds Crankshaw into the box, teasing Liam Gordon. Still Crankshaw back to Akil Wright. Wright will want it on his right foot. In comes the cross, charged down and pulled back into the middle where it's turned away by Cumley. Shout for hands against Wilmot, not given. Didn't look like it from here either. Here's Wright though on the right wing for Stockport. Crankshaw at to Wright again. He teases it towards the far post, but Owen Evans watches it safely into his gloves, and then of course pulls on the floor beyond the far post to run down the clock by another few seconds.
Yeah, Stockport fans were frustrated with how long it took for them to get the ball into the box. I think Crankshaw could have had an opportunity, instead he cut it back, and then eventually the cross, I think it was Wright who crossed the ball, and it was a deep one and a comfortable one for Owen Evans. And like you say, the crowd are just getting a little bit frustrated from a Stockport perspective.
11 minutes left. 1-0 to the Sadlers on BBC Radio WM, and I follow Walsall. Here's Knowles over on the right-hand side. Up towards Williams, headed away. Then Wright gets a touch with his head. Collar at the edge of the centre circle, gets the better of Comley in that midfield battle. Evans. Wide out to the left-hand side and back in field for Evans, who overran it, and eventually Hutchinson was able to help out Hayden White. Andy Williams a little bit isolated up top now. Crankshaw being urged to go forward, but turns and goes back instead to Wright, across to Lewis. And now out to that far side and Hippolyte. Back to Lewis again. And Wright, of course, there's a tendency, subconsciously anyway, as Kinsella goes down after a clash of heads. There is a clash of heads, and the referee has delayed stopping the game for a few seconds, but now both medical teams called on to treat their respective stricken players. Of course, the tendency might be, subconsciously, if nothing else, in the last 10 minutes, Paul, just for the Saddlers to sit back and, you know, what we have, we hold kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because obviously you don't want to invite pressure on from Stockport because you know how dangerous they are. You know what? You know, even some of the subs they've brought on, you know, established attacking players who, like Paddy Madden, prime example, knows how to find the net at this level. Crankshaw's dangerous. You know, he had a good spell at Bradford as well before he's moved to Stockport. So there's definitely a lot of risk in doing that, in protecting what you have, but it's still ebbing and flowing, the game, isn't it? It's still, I think Stockport have probably, since the goal, had the better of it, and that's what you'd expect when they're chasing the game. But the Saddlers still look like they can create something. I think the only issue now is Williams is a bit isolated, as you said earlier, up top on his own without Danny Johnson. I thought there was a lot of good link-up play between the three of them, so we'll see. Michael Flynn looks like he's contemplating changes.
Yeah, it could well be. There's McKenty is coming on, it would look like, to bolster things back there for the Saddlers. Bagan of Cardiff has been sent off, so they're down to 10, still leading Leeds by 2-1 though. And Liam Kinsella is going to complete this match with a big black bandage around his head, so he's literally spilt blood for the Saddlers' cause today, Paul.
You know what, Liam Kinsella with a bandage around his head is actually not a sight that's uncommon, is it? No. You tend to see it 2 or 3 times a season, because that's the nature of how he plays. You know, he's all action, he throws his body in every time, doesn't shirk any challenge, and there are not many players in League Two like him.
Well, Knowles, who received treatment a little while ago, is coming off, and Oisin McEntee is coming on for the last, 7.5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I think that was a change that's been brewing, so to speak, after Knowles had his treatment, and then Michael Flynn sent McKenzie to warm up, and as predicted, Hayden White will now go into the right wing back position, and the same back three that was seen against Mansfield is now intact.
Yep, McKenzie, Daniels and Monte. Monte clears. Wotton hasn't got a bandage on his head, having clashed with Kinsella. Both players are keen to return to the scene of battle, and they are allowed by the fourth official to resume their places out there. Always say at this stage of a game, it's physical fatigue, but mental tiredness creeps in as well, doesn't it, at this point?
Absolutely.
Here's Andy Williams, ricochet off Sarcevic, and played back to Hinchliffe, who clears right-footed. McEntee gets his head to the ball, and out to the left for a throw to Stockport, which Hippolyte takes. Here's Lewis, midway inside his own half. 1-0 to Walsall, ticking around to 84 minutes in the third round of the FA Cup. Lewis, the long diagonal ball for the home team out towards the far side of the penalty area. Collar looking for Wotton, appeals for hands by Wotton, not given. Andrew Kitchen shakes his head, the referee. It's hoisted long, and Hinchliffe forced outside his penalty area to play the ball to Hussey. Hussey moving up the far touchline. Lays it off. Here's Evans back to Sarcevic, left-hand side of the centre circle. Lewis on to right. Now Crankshaw has got Wilmot and Gordon doubling up on him. Crankshaw allows it to drift back to Akil Wright. Square to Joe Lewis. Welshman out to Collar on the right-hand side. Collar with the cross. Monte defends it well. Andy Williams with a neat header to Liam Gordon. Gordon can't keep it in. It is going to be a Stockport throw, but Walsall's shape was very good then as Stockport were in possession, Paul, wasn't it?
Yeah, they couldn't quite progress up the pitch. You know, the Saddlers had really sort of blocked off all the angles, and I think when the ball came out to Williams, who was the furthest man forward, yet still in Walsall's half, I thought that was a clever little header back to Liam Gordon, actually, rather than potentially putting himself under pressure by collecting the ball and You know, just play the way you're facing, knock it back to Gordon. Gordon hit it up the line, and then it was just another 10-20 seconds respite for the Saddlers, and regrouping slowly back into that shape they were just before.
I think I saw the attendance flash up on the big screen then. 9,798, which is a pretty good crowd at Edgeley Park, with over 1,000 Saddlers fans here in attendance today. The moment they're the happiest, seeing their side progress to round 4 with a 1-0 victory, but it's Monte that eases Hippolyte off the ball. The Stockport fans in the Cheadle end wanted a free kick, but the assistant referee had a very good view, flagged for a goal kick instead.
Trademark Manny Monte. He's, when you know, in those sort of situations where, you know, the ball's running towards the byline and he's got a foot race, you know what he's going to do. He'll get ahead of his man and he'll get his body in the way, or just be stronger than his opponent like he was there. And
well, when I was doing the New Year's Day game with Tom Marlowe, I christened him Mountain Monte, Mountain Manny Monte. And there was evidence of that again there.
Absolutely.
I mean, a terrific, well, certainly the occasions I've seen this season, he's been absolutely tremendous.
I think that back three is the wall of Walsall this season. Yes. They've been fantastic.
1-0 to the Saddlers, approaching the final knockings in this FA Cup third round tie. Villa against Stevenage from 4:30. Long ball though for Crankshaw to chase. Gordon has watched it well, but Walsall haven't got it clear. Here's Evans with a shot blocked by Kinsella. Back to Evans again, just outside the penalty area. Here's Wright with a cross towards the far post. It's a bit too strong for Madden, and the Saddlers through McKenty are able to clear it away, but not very far. It's retrieved by Hussey. Hussey with the cross, turned on, back to Madden with a shot. Equaliser from Paddy Madden. That's what he's capable of. Sends the ball into the top corner of the net and denies Walsall a place in the fourth round of the FA Cup. At least for now, it looks like a replay back at Bescott. Paddy Madden off the bench strikes with 2.5 minutes of the 90 to go. A curling right-footed shot that Owen Evans couldn't get to as it arrowed into his top corner. And it's Stockport 1, Walsall 1.
Oh, the Saddlers just didn't clear their lines, did they? I think there was one where McKenty picked it up and cleared it, but it wasn't far enough. It wasn't a great clearance, and the Saddlers are back under pressure instantly. I think there was an instance where the ball's in the box. Wootton does really well holding the ball at his back to goal. As soon as it's laid back to Madden, you know what his ability's like in the box, and he curls a beauty in the top corner, it must be said. But devastating for the Saddlers to concede so late on.
Well, replay for Albion yesterday, replay for Wolves yesterday. Looks like a replay for Walsall today.
Don't think, with two sides obviously looking to get a place in that top 7 in the playoffs, not what both sides would want.
We're in the 89th minute. 1-1 now at Edgeley Park. Hussey with a long ball down the left-hand side. Walsall got to be careful they don't lose it now.
I was just thinking that.
Having gone in front in the way they did through Danny Johnson's lob, just been pegged back. And here's Hutchinson on the centre spot, breaking forward. Gordon's up with him and nearly takes the ball off his own teammate. He's surrounded by blue shirts, and Sarcevic gets a touch. It's going to be a Walsall throw.
Hutchinson's done really well there. Not had a lot ahead of him at all, and then Gordon sort of got in the way as well, but does well to advance so far up the pitch, win a throw-in as well. And well, we'll see how much added time there is. Is there one last twist in this tie?
I'm guessing there's going to be, 4 or 5 minutes, because it's quite a long stoppage for the treatment for Kinsella and Wootton when they clashed heads. Here is Wilmot, ball across the box, and it's diverted behind for a Saddlers corner. They nearly got another one out of nothing there. 9th corner of the game. Can they retake the lead right at the end?
Oh, be perfect time to score. Wilmot does well. It looks like he's going to take this corner, a new corner taker for the Saddlers.
It was Lewis that got the interception, the other number 31, his own near post, to put it behind for this corner. Wilmot delivers it towards the far post. Hinchliffe gets a fist on it. It'll come back to Liam Gordon. Gordon sends it forward, but lacking elevation, and Lewis heads away. Comley will nod it back towards the 18-yard box. Comley again with an important touch, and that's a decent ball out to the left-hand side of Wilmot. 6 added minutes we're into at the end of this game. Wilmot on the corner of the Stockport penalty area. Here is Comley taking on Crankshaw. It's still Brandon Comley. He's got to the byline, pulls it back. He's overhit the cross, but it'll come here for Daniels. Daniels checks back inside his man. Low ball in. Oh, and somehow it's stayed out. Did Hinchliffe get a piece of that? Anyway, Hutchinson's found Daniels again down the right-hand side. In comes the low cross on the slide. Stockport getting away, and there's another player gone down inside the box. The fans wanted something, but the referee hasn't given it. Didn't look as clear-cut as the one in the first half. No. In comes the cross from McKenzie now from the right-hand side. Nearly makes its way through to Hutchinson. Breathless end to this FA Cup third-round tie. 1-1 at Edgeley Park. A minute into six added minutes at the end of the game. Walsall coming on strong, looking for a winner with Gordon. Gordon with the low cross. Akil Wright with the clearance for Stockport. The home fans urging their team out because Walsall are penning them back in at the moment.
This football match, Rob.
Daniels out to the far side again. Chested down. Can they hook it in? No, it's forced away for a Sadler's corner.
10th corner of the game.
Correct.
Oh, need to catch me breath, Rob.
Are they going to take themselves through to the fourth round without the need for a Bescott replay, the Saddlers? The ball's at the right end of the pitch as far as they're concerned. Wilmot going across to the far side to take this corner. It'll be an outswinger with his right foot. In it goes. Montes. The challenge brought wide with the shot. Did it go over the line? The Saddlers fans are celebrating. The referee hasn't given the goal. Hayden White with the header. Thought he'd score, but it's not been given. And now it's Hutchinson. Hutchinson with a tease ball in. Heading on, and a great save by Hinchliffe. Andy Williams' back header nearly found the corner, but Hinchliffe made a wonderful save. White with one that was cleared off the line, and then Hinchliffe at full stretch with the save from Andy Williams' header.
The Saddlers are laying siege on that Stockport goal, Rob. It's so difficult to see from here whether it crossed the line or not.
In comes the corner. Williams with the header, cleared inside the 6-yard box, but the blue shirts can't get out. Here come Walsall again. It's with Gordon. Back out to the far side of Wilmot. Wilmot, his left-footed cross, in it goes, headed on by Williams, looking for Hayden White again. But Joe Lewis is there, a 12th Walsall corner. Those Saddlers fans are doing their best to suck the ball in late on here.
It's doing everything, but there's crosses coming in left, right and centre, flick-ons, headers, deflection, doing everything but going in the net. 11th corner of the game, played just under 3 minutes of the 6. I think Robbie Wilmot's deliveries have been dangerous ones as well. Here's another one.
12th corner, Wilmot with it. It's headed away by Hussey partially, but comes back to Wilmot, sends it in again, headed away. Kinsella's there, and there's a big shout. This time penalty.
Come on.
There's a penalty. Liam Kinsella went down inside the box, and the referee has pointed to this penalty spot.
Well,
after
Kinsella's
3
holding
minutes
his
of added time, and a yellow card has been shown.
Oh my God, this is breathless. This drama at its best.
Well, the referee denied Walsall a stonewall penalty in the first half, but he's given that one deep into added time at the end of this game, and now the Saddlers have the chance to win it.
Well, the whole of stoppage time has been absolute carnage in the Stockport penalty area, and it's had literally everything. So I think the way the ball just kept flying into the box, there was bound to be some sort of collision, and well, the wounded Liam Kinsella has picked up another wound, and off he goes. Well, Andy Williams, how's your nerve?
Andy Williams scored with 2 minutes to go here at Edgeley Park to salvage a point for the Saddlers in League Two. This penalty is to take them into the fourth round of the FA Cup in front of the Walsall travelling fans. Referee Andrew Kitchen pushing all the players outside the penalty area. It's Williams against Hinchliffe. Yes! Cut in! Hinchliffe went the right way, but was never going to keep that out. It's a fabulous penalty by Andy Williams, the hero of Edgeley Park again, and Walsall heading into round 4 of the FA Cup. Deep in added time. Stockport 1, Walsall 2.
Oh, what a guy, what a club, what a team! Andy Williams, cool head. That's how you take a penalty in the 93rd, 94th minute. Absolutely smashed it, top corner. Keeper had no chance. What a moment for those travelling fans.
A fantastic day at Edgeley Park. 5 minutes into added time. There's going to be a little bit of added on time now, I think. Another couple of minutes at least of added time will be added on because of the celebrations in the wake of that Andy Williams penalty. Unfortunately, one or two missiles appear to have come onto the pitch from the Walsall travelling end, although the celebrations are vast majority good-natured, but I did see one or two things come onto the pitch there in the aftermath of that goal. But anyway, Stockport 1, Walsall 2.
Michael Flynn, you've got a magic wand in that pocket in this FA Cup, haven't you? Over the years, so many magical moments in the cup. Late drama, it's just not similarly to the Carlisle game in the last round.
Well, personally, I've seen two unbelievable FA Cup ties this weekend. Chesterfield 3, Albion 3 yesterday, and Stockport 1, Walsall 2 today. But they're still not quite over the line. We've had 6 minutes of added time, but with the penalty being awarded, then a bit more treatment for Kinsella, and then the delay while the kick was taken. We are going to be playing for another minute or two, I think. In comes the long throw to the edge of the 6-yard box, flicked on.
Oh, no.
And it's Williams that tries to clear, now Madden again, but this time it's halfway back in the Cheadle end rather than into the top corner from Paddy Madden, which is where he put the ball when he equalised. 2 minutes from the end of the 90 minutes, but still there was another twist. An Andy Williams penalty 4 minutes into added time has given the Saddlers the edge, and they can touch the fourth round of the FA Cup now, Paul Joannou.
Well, not until my heart stops doing somersaults. Oh my days, Rob. Oh, I just need to catch my breath.
It's been a fantastic game on BBC Radio, WM Sport, and I Follow Walsall. Header away by Joe Lewis. Wilmot underneath it. The referee's blown the final whistle, and the Saddlers are through. They've beaten Stockport here by 2-1. Danny Johnson's lob on 64 minutes gave them the lead. They looked to have been denied their fourth round place when Paddy Madden found the top corner with 2 minutes of the 90 to go. But Andy Williams dispatched a penalty high to the goalkeeper's right after Liam Kinsella, who finished the game with a black bandage around his head, had been fouled inside the penalty area. White was denied a goal and it was cleared off the line. Andy Williams, before the penalty, had a header that somehow Hinchliffe kept out. In the first half, Douglas James Taylor was denied by the Stockport goalkeeper, and Isaac Hutchinson's shot was brilliantly repelled by the goalkeeper for a corner. Walsall denied a stonewall penalty at the end of the first half when Knowles was fouled by Hussey, but it wasn't given. But if you're a Walsall football fan, this is an occasion to go down in the history books of the football club. They may have been playing one of the teams that are alongside them in League Two, but this is why we love football. It produces drama such as this.